William here. What are we doing today? We are looking at Construction Contracting Operations Management Level 6 and Unit 7. This is an introduction video to that unit, and the title of that unit is Identify, Assess and Evaluate Project Requirements in Construction Contracting. So I'll read that title again. Unit 7 title, Identify, Assess and Evaluate Project Requirements in Construction Contracting. Has a credit value of 18, which makes it one of the joint largest units in the qualification. What's this unit about? This unit is about the procurement and the use of resources, the purchasing and use of resources. As an NVQ candidate, you will need to evidence or gain the ability to identify and agree goals and priorities with project stakeholders. You also need to evidence how you identify the function and performance requirements for the project. You'll need to evidence how you clarify, summarise and present the project requirements with reference to stakeholder preferences, challenge any preferences that are not realistic, and decide, propose and agree on valid options. You'll need to evidence or gain the ability or knowledge to identify where resources will be needed. And don't forget, resources, if you follow our management courses, are people, trades, management, so resources, plant, materials, and in many respects, time. So you will need to evidence or gain the ability to identify where resources will be needed and how to obtain them, or with respect to time, how to manage it correctly. We will then need to evidence how you analyse the factors that will influence the procurement and use of resources. You also need to evidence how you check that resources have been estimated and those opportunities and constraints have been evaluated and presented to decision makers. And you also need to produce a report on procurement and use of resources. So, typical evidence requirements, if that's phased you, please don't be phased. Let's work our way through it. Typical evidence requirements, estimates. Resources, quotes, emails regarding costs and cost changing. Plant, equipment and material delivery prices. Plant, labour and material schedules. Project planning, meeting minutes, bill of quants and specifications. This is a large unit, but let's see what the learning outcomes are. The learning outcomes of this unit are: 1. Be able to identify, assess and agree project requirements and stakeholders' preferences. 2. Understand how to identify and assess and agree project requirements and stakeholders' preferences. 3. Be able to identify, assess and evaluate resource procurement factors. Let me say that one again. Number 3. Be able to identify, assess and evaluate resource procurement factors. And 4. Understand how to assess and evaluate procurement factors. Overview. I took quite a deep look into this unit. Let's see what the overview is, my interpretation of this unit. It's quite a large unit. 18 credits, dealing with managing the client's preferences. Sometimes clients have unrealistic preferences and they have to be brought down to earth when you bring in their preferences and you show them the budgets they've allowed. So, dealing and managing with clients' preferences, touching on sustainability and design options, managing resources and procurement to program and budget, identifying budget threats and opportunities, and communicating continually to stakeholders and decision makers. So you can see this is quite a large unit, and at a level 6, if this was a taught unit, you would be on an 8-hour day, 2-week course. So do give this unit and your studies the time they deserve, and make thorough use of the podcast guidance. In that guidance, we will go through each of the learning outcomes and every assessment criteria, and we give direction on every point, so that if you were raising your game, moving into senior management, you could use those podcasts as learning material. And if you're on the NVQ program, you can follow those podcasts, because they will give you complete direction of how to evidence your NVQ to the correct standards.